Have you heard the one about the weasel who stole Christmas? No, it's not a spin-off of The Grinch, but a hilarious myth about our misunderstood friend, the weasel. Now there's a rumor swirling around that weasels are notorious thieves, that they'll take anything that isn't nailed down, including, yes, your precious Christmas presents. Can you imagine? A tiny weasel dragging away a big, beautifully wrapped box, all the while wearing a cheeky grin on its face. Now that's a sight for sore eyes. But let's get real here. Weasels are not the sneaky Grinches they're made out to be. While they're certainly resourceful creatures, they're not about to tiptoe into your home and make off with your shiny new gadgets or sparkly baubles. No, weasels have a more, let's say, meaty preference. But don't worry, your Christmas presents are safe. Weasels are not interested in your new iPhone or designer handbag. They prefer small rodents, thank you very much. Moving from theft to the supernatural, did you know some people believe weasels are the world's smallest vampires? Now that's a wild thought, isn't it? This odd belief stems from observing weasels' carnivorous dietary habits. Yes, they do consume the blood of their prey, but let's not get our myths muddled up. They're not lurking in the shadows waiting to swoop down and suck your blood. They're simply doing what comes naturally to them in the wild. Just imagine, if we labeled every carnivore as a vampire, we'd have a planet teeming with Draculas. And let's be honest, that's a bit more Bram Stoker than David Attenborough, isn't it? So it's time to put this myth to bed. Weasels, while they are fierce hunters, are not the Transylvanian terrors of the animal kingdom. They're just incredibly good at what they do, surviving. So, rest easy. There's no need to wear garlic necklaces or silver crosses around these cute creatures. Now, on to our final myth, the weasel, a cold-blooded killer or a misunderstood mammal. We've all heard the tales, haven't we? Weasels, the ruthless assassins of the animal kingdom, prowling the night with their razor-sharp teeth and insatiable bloodlust. But hold on a minute, folks. Before we cast these furry fellows as the villains in our nature documentaries, let's take a step back and look at the facts. Yes, weasels are skilled hunters. With their slender bodies and quick reflexes, they're perfectly adapted to chase down their prey. But does that make them bloodthirsty beasts? Not quite. In fact, weasels, like every other creature on this planet, are just trying to make a living. They hunt because they need to eat, not because they're out for blood. So, while weasels might have a bad reputation, they're not the villains of the animal kingdom. They're simply doing what they need to survive. As we wrap up our journey into the world of weasels, let's revisit what we've learned. Our first myth took us down a whimsical path, one where weasels were painted as the Grinches of the animal kingdom. Remember how we chuckled at the notion of weasels stealing Christmas? Well, as it turns out, these furry creatures are not interested in swiping your holiday cheer. They're just busy being weasels, doing their weasel thing, and have no interest in your tinsel or your turkey. Next, we delved into the world of vampire legends. No, we're not talking about the suave, sparkling kind, we're talking about weasels. The myth was amusing, but let's face it, weasels are not the world's smallest vampires. They don't have a taste for the supernatural, nor are they out for blood. They're just out there, living their best weasel lives, navigating the world with their keen senses and agile bodies. Finally, we addressed the most infamous myth of all, weasels as cold-blooded killers. It's a portrayal that has given them a bad rap for centuries. But we've discovered that weasels, like any other creature, are simply trying to survive in a world that's bigger and scarier than they are. They're not ruthless killers. They're misunderstood mammals, doing what they need to do to thrive in the wild. Through these myths and realities, we've unearthed the truth about weasels. They're not the villains they're often made out to be. They're fascinating, complex creatures with their own unique quirks and behaviors. And isn't that what makes the animal kingdom so wonderfully diverse and intriguing? So, next time you hear a tall tale about a weasel, remember, they're not thieves, they're not vampires, and they're not ruthless killers. They're just weasels doing their weasel thing. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride into the world of weasels. Until next time, keep your mind open and your heart kind towards all creatures.